You know how every town has a weird rule? Ours is simple. Don't blink twice at 3:33 a.m. Not once, twice. We live in a small town called Grafton Pines, hidden between the forest and forgotten roads. No one really moves here and no one really leaves. It's the kind of place where secrets are buried beneath silence. And everyone pretends not to notice when something isn't quite right. I'm Mira, 17, junior year. And up until last week, I thought the 3:33 a.m. thing was just another old town myth. Like the stories of the woman in white who wanders the lake or the telephone booth that rings with voices of the dead. Then my brother broke it. The rule it was last Friday night, or technically Saturday morning. We were up late binge-watching a crappy horror flick with popcorn and warm soda. Our parents had gone to my aunt's in the next county. It's just me and Jai, my older brother by 2 years, in the living room with the glow of the screen in the wind. Howling through the pine trees, it was 3:30 a.m. when the power cut out. Total darkness. No warning, just the hum of silence and our breath. Jai laughed, thinking it was perfect timing for a horror cliché. I fumbled for my phone's flashlight, muttering something about the circuit breaker. That's when the old grandfather clock in the hallway began to chime. It doesn't work. Hasn't worked in years. My dad said it was broken beyond repair. But it chimed, clear and cold. 3 chimes. Pause. Then a 4th. No way, Jai said. That's not possible. I stared at the screen of my phone. 3:33 a.m. My heart began to race. You remember the rule, I whispered? Jai smirked. Don't blink twice at 3:33 a.m. Yeah, stupid urban legend. He stood, turned to the hallway where the clock stood in darkness, and blinked. Once, twice, boom, he said sarcastically. Guess I'm cursed now. I didn't laugh. My stomach had knotted. Something about the air felt thinner, heavier, then something moved in the reflection of the blank TV screen. Not us. I saw it, a figure tall, gaunt, slightly leaning like. It wasn't used to standing upright. Jai turned just as I screamed. Behind you. He spun, but there was nothing there. Just the room, empty taut, except the smell had changed. Sulfur, rotten eggs, and something. Metallic like rusted coins and blood. I backed away and my phone flickered. Then died. Jai was still laughing, but his voice shook slightly. You scared yourself. There's nothing. The clock chimed again. Once. Just once. And then came the scratching. Soft at first, like nails along wood. Then louder. From inside the walls, we didn't sleep that night. When the sun rose, everything seemed normal again. Jai laughed it off. It's power outage. Your imagination and a busted clock deciding to work again for once. That's all it was. But I knew. Something had changed. The first sign, Sunday morning, Jai didn't wake up on time. Not unusual for him. But when he finally came downstairs, he looked pale. Eyes red like he hadn't slept, hair wet with sweat. Nightmares? I asked. He just nodded. What was it? He hesitated. I saw someone standing in my room, but not moving, just staring. Did you blink? I was already awake, he muttered. So I tried not to. Then what? I blinked. Once. No, he said, voice shaking now. Twice. That was the last real conversation we had by Monday. Jai started forgetting things. Weird things like his locker combination, or our dog's name, or that Mom doesn't like mushrooms. On Tuesday, he didn't recognize our neighbor, Mrs. Heller, who babysat us for years. By Wednesday, he didn't recognize me, whispers in the pine the whole time. The clock kept chiming. Every night at 3:33 a.m., we unplugged it. It still chimed. We smashed it. Still chimed. Dad even threw it into the ravine near the woods. Still, it chimed. I started recording the nights on my phone. Nothing ever appeared on video, just the sound. The scratch, the chimes, and the voice, a whisper, low and deep. Like it crawled from beneath the floorboards. Don't blink, don't blink. You broke the time. I went to the town library, the part that hadn't been touched since the 1800s. Buried in the archives was a faded Article from 1952. It mentioned a boy named Peter Langston who went missing. On Halloween night, witnesses said he had blinked twice at 3:33 a.m., mocking the town legend. All they found was his reflection. He's trapped inside a mirror. Something watches. It's been a week now. Jai doesn't speak anymore. He stares at nothing. Sometimes he mumbles backwards. He flinches when mirrors are nearby. Sometimes I catch his reflection moving a second too late. Mom says he's just going through something, but I know better. Because last night, I heard two sets of breathing in my room, and when I blinked, I saw eyes watching me from inside my closet, wide pale and unblinking. They say, once you blink twice at 3:33 a.m., they see you forever. And once they do, they follow you in every reflection, waiting. For the moment you blink again, when Jai stopped responding to his name, I stopped sleeping. He would sit for hours at the edge of his bed, unmoving. No phone, no TV, just staring at the wall with a blank look on his face, like something had scooped out who he was and left. Only the shell behind. I tried calling the doctor. I ran tests, neurological, psychiatric. Everything came back normal. It's probably stress, they said. But stress doesn't make your eyes reflect light like a cat in the dark. Stress doesn't make you speak in whispers when no one else is around. And stress definitely doesn't make your reflection look ... wrong. The mirror test, it started Wednesday night. I caught it by accident. I was brushing my teeth, leaned over the sink, and looked up to see Jai's reflection standing behind me. He was supposed to be in bed, Jai. I turned around. No one. My heart skipped. I looked back in the mirror, nothing. Just me. But for a second, I was sure I had seen his figure in the glass. It was just standing there, unmoving, expressionless. The next morning, I found the bathroom mirror covered with a thin layer of condensation. But the weather was dry. No one had showered. Drawn into the fog were the words, "You blinked. He's not yours anymore." Paranoia at 3:33, I tried everything: sleeping, pills, staying at a friend's house, locking Jai's door. But the clock kept chiming, and something always managed to wake me just before 3:33. My phone would buzz for no reason, a knock on the window, a whisper under my bed, and always the voice, blink once, then again, let me in. Thursday night. I decided to record everything. I set up my phone on a tripod, aimed at my bedroom mirror. I hit record and stayed awake, huddled beneath the covers with every light on. At exactly 3:33 a.m., the clock chimed. 1, 2. Then pause, then a fourth. Always a fourth. I clenched my eyes shut. Something compelled me to open them, the mirror. It was no longer showing my room. Instead, it revealed a dim hallway, moldy wallpaper, creaking floorboards, a red bulb swinging from the ceiling. A place I'd never seen before, but something in my bones told me I had. Then, something stepped into the frame. It looked like me, but its eyes were hollow and wide, mouth stitched into a sick smile. It raised a hand and waved at me slowly. I blinked once. Then I screamed and looked away. The mirror shattered. Just like that, it was gone. The ticking people the next day at school. Things were off. Some of the students had changed. They looked the same, talked the same. Yes. But their movements were timed. Like ticking clocks. Blink, step, turn. Blink. Perfectly timed. One of them, Lise, my lab partner, tilted her head and said, "Have you heard the chime yet, Mira?" I froze. "No." "Good," she said, but she didn't blink the entire time she said it. Then she whispered, "Some reflections lie." Jai's reflection that night. I took a photo of Jai while he sat still on his bed. But in the photo, his face was turned toward the camera. In real life, he hadn't moved. The reflection was watching me. Later, I saw the photo had been altered on my phone. File name changed to 333_duplicate JPG. I deleted it. It reappeared. I deleted it again. Duplicated into 333 JPG, 333.1 JPG. 333 to closing parenthesis. JPG. Then one night, I heard the printer in the study going off over and over again. Dozens of copies of Jai's reflection, each one a little different. Some smiling, some mouthless, some with my face. Voices through the glass Friday night. The power went out again. The entire neighborhood this time. From my bedroom window, I saw silhouettes on every porch. People standing still, not moving. I turned to my mirror. It was fogged up again. I wiped it clean. Behind my reflection stood not one figure but 5, all staring. Each time I blinked, one got closer. I closed my eyes tight, held my breath, counted to 20. When I opened them, the mirror was clear. Empty, normal, until I turned to leave and saw a reflection of myself, still staring. It didn't turn when I did. Didn't breathe when I breathed. It simply whispered, "You blinked again." And it smiled, old woman at the edge. Of town, I remembered something my grandmother used to say before she passed. If the clock chimes 4, go to the woods no more. But if you must, find the mirror witch. She'll know. I never understood it. But with Jai getting worse, now unable to speak at all, and his reflection wandering around the house, I was desperate. So Saturday, I walked to the edge of town, past the rusted water tower, beyond the last bus stop, into the part of the forest that even deer seemed to avoid. I found her, an old cabin, broken glass everywhere, dozens of mirrors hanging from trees like wind chimes. She was already waiting. "Your brother blinked," she said without turning. "You nearly have to." I asked her what it meant, what was happening. "You open the veil at the chime," she said. 3:33 is when the mirror world stirs, the place of unfinished faces, and now you're seen. Seen by what? She looked at me with dead eyes. The ones who want out. She gave me a warning. "If you want to survive," she rasped, "don't blink twice. Not just at 3:33. Not ever again while they're watching. Because once you do, they trade places. Trade, you become them. They become you." I asked her what happened to people who did blink. She handed me a cracked mirror and said, "Look for yourself." I saw Jai's face inside, trapped behind glass, screaming silently, pounding with invisible fists. Then something looked back from behind my own reflection. The witch grabbed the mirror, shattered it against the floor, and hissed, "Too late." To stare too long, spreading, I think the mirror world is bleeding into ours. I see reflections where there shouldn't be any on still water, blank screens, windows with curtains drawn. They move on their own. And sometimes I see myself in places I haven't been. In a crowd. In the rearview mirror of a stranger's car smiling, and every time the clock chimes at 3:33, I feel something behind me, waiting. Jai is gone. The thing walking around in his body now doesn't speak, doesn't blink, doesn't breathe unless it knows someone is watching. It copies perfectly, but not perfectly enough. Last night, it sat at the dinner table, nodding to my dad, eating cereal, dry with a spoon. Not blinking. But I saw it watching the reflection in the window, saw it studying how it moved, like it was still learning how to pretend, and when it smiled with its teeth first. The mirror that wasn't there before, I woke up with a new mirror in my room. Oval, antique, dusty gold frame. I never owned it, neither did my parents. It stood at the foot of my bed, tilted just enough to reflect me asleep. The problem is I hadn't blinked since 3:33. The night before, my eyes were dry, burning, but I didn't dare shut them. I'd learned the mirror world only needed 2 blinks. One to signal you were open, the second to allow the exchange. So I sat there, eyes wide, throat dry, every muscle trembling, and the girl in the mirror, she blinked. Twice, what the witch told me before I left her broken glass garden. The mirror witch said something else. If the reflection blinks before you do, you've already been marked. Marked. I didn't know what that meant, till I saw the mark forming on my neck then, silvery, and shaped like a closed eye. It pulsed at 3:33 a.m. like a second heartbeat. It wasn't a wound, it was a lock. The witch said that once it forms, you have one chance to escape. You have to trade. Trade what? She just smiled with broken teeth. You know what? It's a school incident Monday morning. I walked into school, sleep-deprived and paranoid, only to find Elise from chemistry collapsed on the floor in front of the girls' bathroom mirror. Eyes wide open. Pupils gone, dead, but no one declared her dead. They called it a seizure. Body was rushed away. But I saw the truth. The reflection stayed in the mirror. Her body was empty. The lights flickered 3 times. I heard someone whisper. She blinked when it smiled.
What?
The reflections want they. They want to kill us. They want to replace us. The mirror world is empty. Cold. Time doesn't pass there. It just loops. A broken second stuck at 3:33, they want out. And they figured out the loophole. We look at reflections 1,000 times a day. We trust them, never question them. But when you blink twice while they're watching, you give them the opening. Trade. They enter. You're left behind. I saw Jai in the mirror again, not the one walking around pretending to be him. The real Jai. I walked past a department store window, dusty, covered in tape. I glanced at it without meaning to. There he was, pounding on the glass from inside, mouth moving but silent. Behind him were dozens, no, hundreds of faces. Some I recognized, some I used to recognize, some wore my face. One of them raised a hand to its lips and whispered something that sent my blood cold. We only need you to blink. The trade ritual that night, I found a note under my pillow. It was on old paper, torn from a book, written in reverse. I held it to a mirror. To reverse the trade, you must find the twin of the one taken, the one who hasn't yet been mirrored. Offer. Them at 3:33 a.m. Let the mirror choose. If it accepts, your bond will be broken. But the price will be yours to keep. I didn't know what it meant until I looked at the list of recent disappearances from our town. Every missing person had a sibling, except one. Me. The choice that night. Act. The clock ticked louder. I stared into the oval mirror. In my room, my reflection didn't match me anymore. It smiled when I frowned. It blinked when I didn't. It leaned closer when I stepped away, and I heard Jai's voice weak, distant like wind through cracked glass. Trade me back. Find someone else, please. Would I? Could I offer someone else to save him? I tried to warn others. I posted on forums, Reddit, urban legend groups, paranormal threads. No one believed me except one girl. Her name was Lexa. She lived in a different town. She said she saw the same mark appear on her brother's neck, that her sister went blank after a mirror cracked in their hallway. We planned to talk on video chat. She turned on her camera first, but when I looked at her feed, her reflection was already facing me, smiling. Lexa never showed up again. Now I'm running out of time. The mark on my neck is fully formed now. A silver eye, pulsing every night at 3:33. My parents don't see it, but in every mirror, it's wide open. Last night, I slept with every mirror covered, but still. I dreamed of standing in a hallway with hundreds of mirrors lining the walls, each one showing a different version of me. Some sobbing, some screaming, some smiling. All waiting, and I realized something awful. The mirror world doesn't just watch, it remembers every blink, every second of eye contact. Every moment we ignore our own reflection, it grows stronger. They tried again last night. They woke up at exactly 3:33 a.m. The chime echoed from the basement this time. There are no clocks in the basement. When I opened my eyes, I was staring into the mirror on the ceiling, a mirror I never installed, and the girl looking down? The mirror on the ceiling blinking. Shouldn't have existed. I never placed it there. Neither did my parents. And yet at 3:33 a.m., it loomed above me, massive, ornate, reflecting my body as I lay frozen in bed. But the reflection wasn't just mimicking me anymore. It was moving differently. My hands were still under the blanket. Hers weren't. She reached upward, knuckles pressed against the glass, not just the surface. It looked like she was trying to push through. Then her eyes met mine, and she mouthed, "You're already halfway here." Fractures in reality after that night. Reflections stopped syncing. Windows showed me turning corners before I did. Water. Surfaces rippled even when I stood still. I passed by a parked car and saw a version of myself inside, whispering something into a phone I didn't own. Reality wasn't breaking, it was bleeding. I went back to the witch. But her cabin was gone. Just scorched wood and a shattered mirror in the soil where her door once stood, written in soot, "It's your turn to choose." The eye in the lakai thought water would be safer than mirrors. It's not. I walked past Grafton Lake completely still, under the overcast sky, and made the mistake of glancing down. Something moved beneath the surface. A's face mine, but it wasn't mine anymore. Its skin was bruised. Its lips were sewn shut, but its eyes screamed louder than anything I've ever heard. Behind it, I saw others, dozens watching, pressing hands against the underside of the water as if it were glass. Then, I realized it was glass. The lake wasn't a lake. It was a window, and the other side was getting thinner. A message from Jeeth that night. I set every mirror back up in my room phone screen, bathroom mirror, laptop screen, a cracked compact from my drawer. I needed answers. At exactly 3:33 a.m., they all fogged over at once. Then, a message appeared across each one. Different fragments, one word at a time. Myra still me -inside -trade -window -cemetery -tonight -mirror -open -bring someone mirror. 2, it faded, just as my closet door creaked open. A girl stepped out me again, but smiling wider than before. Eyes glossy like wet obsidian, she raised a finger to her lips. She, the cemetery ritual eye, didn't plan to obey the message, but I couldn't risk Jai being trapped forever. If there was even a sliver of him left, I had to try. So I walked to Grafton. Cemetery at midnight, carried a hand mirror and a flashlight. The air was cold, even for July. At the oldest tombstone, Mary Langdon. Died 1893, I saw it. An upright mirror. Leaning against the grave. Oval, antique, dusty gold frame. Just like the one in my room. I stepped closer. My reflection blinked. Once. Then, I heard footsteps behind me. The girl with no reflection sheet came out of the shadows barefoot. White dress. Long black hair covering her face. But when I aimed the mirror at her, it showed nothing. Not even the background. She had no reflection. She was the placeholder, a vessel. Waiting for a trade. She pointed at me, then at the mirror, then at the grave. Then she crouched, scratched something into the dirt. You, him, her, one stays. It wasn't a rescue. It was a deal. I could get Jai back. Someone else had to stay behind. The trade attempt Ty gripped the mirror with both hands. My reflection nodded slowly. It looked worn down, now eyes sunken, mouth trembling. Still, me, still aware, from within the glass, Jai's face emerged beside mine, flickering, fading. But there, the girl with no reflection reached her hand. Toward the mirror, it passed through. She was the key. Jai's voice echoed faintly. I'm close. You just need to push. Trade, the glass vibrated. My vision blurred. I could feel myself being pulled forward, but then I blinked twice, the price of a blink. World snapped backward. The mirror shattered. The girl vanished. And Guy's scream echoed across the cemetery in a voice I hadn't heard in days. Why did you blink? I collapsed. My hands bled from the broken glass. My ears rang with static. But I felt different, heavier, hollow. When I looked down, I saw the silver mark on my neck now fully open, and beside it, Ida, blinking on its own. The day that followed I came home covered in dirt. My parents didn't notice. Jai was at the kitchen table again, staring at cereal like he didn't know what to do with it. But something was different. He blinked. He actually blinked once then. Again, he looked at me and whispered, It wasn't Me who screamed, and then came the call. My phone rang that afternoon. Unknown number, I answered. A voice on the other end, raspy, wet like it came through a tunnel, whispered, "One more blink left. Choose wisely." Then laughter high-pitched, childlike, cut off with a crackle. Reflections are watching that night. I covered all mirrors. But even in the black of my screen I saw faces, even in my eyes, even in Jai's. He doesn't sleep. Do I peek? 'Cause now we both feel it. Something is still inside us. Waiting, we traded. We thought the trade failed. Kept the change, but it didn't. Something came through. And now, hungry. Changes in Jai since the night at the cemetery. Jai hasn't spoken much. Not in full sentences. But he does whisper strange things when he thinks I'm asleep. Like, the glass was warm on the other side. It's not a copy. It's a mouth. And sometimes there are more. They're starving. I asked him what that meant, but he just stared at his reflection and muttered, "You'll see." His eyes are darker now, just enough that you wouldn't notice unless you were looking for it. His smile lingers a second too long. And when he sleeps, his lips move, as if he's talking to someone inside the dream, or worse. Inside the mirror, the fog returned. I woke up the next night with a feeling like I was being watched through my skin. The window fogged over, so did the bathroom mirror, then the inside of my glasses. I blinked rapidly, trying to clear my vision. That's when I saw it triding burned faintly onto the condensation inside the mirror, this time in reverse. You fed it, it's awake. I threw a blanket over the mirror and backed out of the bathroom. Jai stood in the hallway, motionless, eyes half-closed. He whispered, "It knows your name now." Reflections in others. That week, I started seeing versions of me in other people's eyes, in the reflection of a spoon, a phone screen, the curved metal of a faucet. Each time, my reflection was just slightly off. In one, I was smiling when I wasn't. In another, my eyes were completely black. In another, I wasn't blinking at all. And then, in the back window of the school bus, I saw it, a third eye, open in the middle of my mirrored forehead. It blinked, then disappeared. The whispering screens, it spread faster than I thought. The mirrors were just the beginning. Next came the screens. Anything with a reflection. Phones, laptops turned off, TVs began whispering at 3:33 a.m. Garbage audio. Backwards. Music. Static laced with breathing. I recorded it once, played it in reverse. What I heard? We hunger. We remember. Feed us what is seen. My phone screen cracked after that. All by itself. But in the shattered lines, I saw eyes open, unclean. Watching, I asked Jai the truth. I confronted him. "What did you bring back with you?" He didn't answer at first. Then he walked up to the hallway mirror, stared at his reflection for a full minute, and whispered, "Not what? Who?" I felt the room go cold. Then who? He turned to me, eyes glossy. A tear ran down his cheek. The one that never blinked. The first, the hungry one. The town remembers. I went digging again. This time, into town records. The local library had nothing digital, but the old sealed archives in the basement, those told the truth. In 1893, a boy named Elias Marin went missing, last seen during a town seance. One witness claimed he had fallen into the mirror while others chanted. The mirror was sealed, buried under the church in 1912. Another report, mirror-related hysteria. Reflections acting independently. Children speaking in reversed voices. Townwide cleansing performed. Over 40 mirrors smashed. But no one ever explained what had been released. One phrase kept repeating in the documents. The mirror feeds. The mirror learns. The black room, I found it beneath the church. An old locked room in the basement that reeked of mold and rusted metal. Inside were broken frames, covered glass, twisted silver, symbols scrawled in blood or paint, a mirror nailed flat to the ground. On the wall, a warning, "Do not feed the third." Before I could run, the mirror on the floor shimmered. It showed me, but not here. It showed me standing in a field of mirrors, all surrounding a well made of black glass, and I was smiling. Jai is changing. His eyes are wrong now. Even in photos, his shadow sometimes moves after he does. His reflection sometimes shows. Him turning to me with a smile when he hasn't even moved. And worst of all, he no longer sleeps at all. He watches, and the mark on my neck, it's no longer one eye, it's three, stacked vertically, all blinking in sync, the mirror in my dreams. It's no longer just at 3:33 a.m. now. The mirror appears in my dreams. I walk endlessly through a corridor of broken reflections, and always at the end, there's the third mirror. It's different. It doesn't reflect anything. It absorbs everything. The final message: Jai came to my room tonight. He looked tired, or maybe the thing inside him was. "I'm sorry," he said softly. Then he handed me a note, folded, blood-stained. I unfolded it slowly. "You broke the veil." The first was curiosity. The second was trade. The third is hunger. It will not stop. He looked at me with tears in his eyes. "I'm still in here, but it's feeding now. On faces, on names, on memory." Then he added, "It's using me to find you." The reflection in the family photo, I looked through old pictures. A childhood photo of me and Jai on the porch. I zoomed in the glass door behind us. A third child, smiling, watching, blinking eye. Asked my parents who it was. They said we were only ever two kids. But the child in the reflection, the mirror in my dreams, is no longer staying in dreams, and it always looks directly at me. I saw it in the real world last night down the street from our house, standing upright in the center of our cul-de-sac. No frame. It's just a vertical slab of black glass, humming quietly like it was breathing through the pavement, and everyone else walked round it like it wasn't there, like it didn't exist. Only I could see it, and when I tried to take a photo, the image file corrupted. But in the glitched fragments I managed to recover. I saw my face, only it wasn't me. It was the version that never blinked. The third is not a mirror. That's what Jai whispered to me just before sunrise. It's not a mirror, Mira. It's a doorway. It's dressed like one. He was shivering, face, pale voice, thin, like it was traveling from far away. Every mirror you've ever known, your phone, your bathroom, your eyes, has only been a reflection of something else. They made us think they were safe. I leaned in closer. I asked. Jai didn't answer. He just looked up, and behind his eyes, for the first time, I saw another pair. Looking back, reflections that don't break. That day, I tested something. I smashed every mirror in the house. The glass cracked, shattered, crumbled into pieces, but the reflections stayed on the floor, in the shards. In midair, even when I swept the pieces up, they still showed me. And in one of the bigger pieces, I saw something else. A girl my age, face pressed to the inside of the mirror, eyes bleeding, mouth wide, scratching the glass with her nails. A name appeared beneath her image. Mira, the archive's last entry back at the library. The old archivist finally talked to me. A woman named Edna, nearly blind, half-mad. When I told her I saw the third mirror, she froze. "You weren't supposed to see that," she whispered. Then she pulled out a dusty box. Locked, metal, smelled like rain. Inside was a photo, black and white, blurred. It showed 3 girls standing in front of a cracked mirror, all identical. One smiling, one crying, one faceless. 3 sisters, she said. Or one split 3 ways, one to live, one to suffer, one to feed. I'd written on the back of the photo, "The third never reflects, it consumes." Jai's shadow is not his own, I started. Watching Jai more closely, his eyes move 1 second slower than his voice. He answers questions before I ask them, and once, when I walked past his bedroom door, I swear I saw 2 of them inside. One sitting on the bed, the other standing in the mirror staring. Then they both turned to look at me, at the exact same time, and smiled. 33 mirrors in Grafton. I made a list. There are 33 standing mirrors, scattered across Grafton public places, old stores, antique halls, a few even in the cemetery. When I plotted them on a map, they formed a symbol. 3 circles, 1 triangle, and in the center, a single word burned into the floor plan of the town's oldest building. That's when I realized these mirrors are not random. They're a network, a summoning pattern, and it's almost complete. The child with no name. Boy appeared in the hallway last night, about 8 years old, pale hair matted. No one else saw. Himmy stood beneath the old hallway clock which still chimes at 3:33 a.m. and whispered something so soft it vibrated in my teeth. You are the last reflection. I tried to step toward him, but he pointed to the closet mirror behind me. It had fogged and written in tiny, trembling letters. Third is here. Don't blink. Don't move. Don't think. I remember something I shouldn't. Came back to me. In fragments. A memory. I was 6, in the attic, talking to someone in the mirror, but not my reflection. She said her name was Mira too. She said I would forget her soon, and that when I remembered again, the third would come for me. She held up 3 fingers and whispered, first you forget, then you look, then you let me in. And when I blinked twice, she disappeared. Until now, the glass is growing, everything around me reflects. Now wood, metal, leaves, skin. When I look at people's eyes, I see tiny mirrors. I looked at my own reflection in a rain puddle this morning. It didn't move, then it reached out. The water rippled outward like glass breaking, and the surface whispered, it's time to return. Jai's confession tonight. Jai came to me with his eyes full of tears and his hands trembling. It's not me anymore, he whispered. It's all memory. I think I'm the reflection now. I think the real Jai is gone, held his hand. But it felt cold, brittle, like he was no longer made of skin and blood, but silver and memory. I didn't mean to bring it back, said I just blinked then, barely audible. But you. We're already on the other side, the third. Mirror appears again at exactly 3:33 a.m. tonight. I opened my eyes to find it in my room. The third mirror, no frame. No wall behind it. It's just standing waiting. I didn't move. Didn't blink. Didn't breathe. Inside, the blackness swirled and thickened and then it opened. A doorway. And from within it stepped 3 versions of me. One with no eyes. One with no mouth. One with no face at all. They circled the bed and whispered together in unison, choose. The choice, this is the final phase. The mirror no longer wants reflections. It wants me. The last version of myself, still unclaimed. They gave me until the next 3:33 to decide. Trade, submit, or watch the third. Mirror grow and consume everyone. And somewhere in the deepest corner of my room, the glass begins to stretch. And from within it, I hear a voice like mine, but older. The time is 3:32 a.m. I'm sitting on the floor of my room, lights off, surrounded by 33 shards of broken mirrors, arranged in a perfect circle. My phone is dead. My breath fogs the air. And the third mirror is back hovering inches. Above the ground, like it's unchained from gravity, tonight is the night. I choose not what to become, but which version of me survives, because the reflections. They're not just watching anymore. They've voted. Jai is gone, I lost him this time, not physically. He's still in his room, sitting up in bed, arms resting on his knees, but his eyes are empty now, white, polished like porcelain. He doesn't speak, doesn't blink, and when I called his name, a mirror beside him answered instead. You got your warning, Myra, but you blinked anyway. A whisper, a hiss, like it came from within the wall, and then I saw Jay's body in the bed. And Jay's reflection crawling on the ceiling. The mark is complete. The eye on my neck. It opened fully tonight. 3 vertical slits now stretch across my collarbone, glowing faintly silver in the dark. I covered them with bandages, then with scarves. But even when hidden, they see, and they feed on what I see too. Every mirror I look into now shows something different. something further ahead, not the present. Not even me, but what's waiting if I choose wrong? They made me watch. The mirror showed me 3 versions of my life. In the first, I blink at 3:33 a.m. I'm gone. My body lives on, but something else speaks through it. I become a shell. People forget me over time, even though I'm still there, like a static-filled radio channel no one tunes into anymore. The second I run, smash the third mirror, block every reflection, never sleep again. But I don't survive. I live in fear. And eventually, I go blind. In the third, I step through, inside the third mirror when I closed my eyes just once. I felt myself pulled forward, not like walking, but like falling sideways into cold water. I opened my eyes in a place made of mirrors, but these mirrors didn't show me. They showed people I've never met. Old women in broken beds, children screaming in rooms with no doors, faces pressed against glass, mouths moving without sound, and behind them all, the collector, the thing that made the third, the collector. Has no face it, doesn't walk. It glides. Its body is black glass. Tall as a house, moving like smoke underwater. Where its face should be is a shattered oval, and inside the shards, reflections of everyone it has consumed. It spoke in silence, straight into my skull. You are the last, the truest, the only one who sees. I asked it what it wanted. It said, "You already gave me Jai. Give me the rest, then you're free." The deal the collector offered me a trade. Not just for Jai, for everything. Give me your mirror, the self that never blinked. The version you abandoned long ago. Let her walk in your world. She's waited long enough. And in exchange, I seal the third. Forever. A mirror girl, I saw her again. The girl I met when I was 6, a reflection that wasn't mine. She stepped from one of the side mirrors, barefoot, face full of quiet rage. "You left me here?" she said, eyes burning. "You forgot." And I watched. Every year, every moment. "You looked into mirrors and," I screamed. She touched the mark on my neck. "This is me. You wore me like a scar. Now wear me like a soul." Back in my room, I woke up on the floor again. Clock. 3:33 a.m. The third mirror humming louder. Pulses like a living thing. My reflection isn't in it anymore. Instead, it's just a doorway. Beyond it, it's nothing but swirling black dot and footsteps. Mine, the final blink I hear. Jai's voice. Or what's left of it. "Don't blink, Mira, or we're both gone." But I can't keep my eyes open anymore. The mirror demands it. Every heartbeat urges. The lids lower, and when they finally shut once, I feel something wrap around my spine. A whisper in my ear. One more blink. And you belong to us. I break the circle eye, reach for one of the mirror shards, and slice across the mark on my neck. The silver eye blinks one sand, then screams, "I." Throw the piece into the third mirror, and it ripples like a scream underwater, like static in time. From its center, the mirror girl steps through. She's not smiling. She looks exactly like me, but stronger, older, and she says, "Go. I'll finish what you've started." The lapse, the third mirror begins to crack. First in hairline fractures. Then in full spirals. All 33 mirror shards around me tremble. One by one, they explode. Into white light. And the mirror girl turns to me with a nod. "I'll hold them here." "But what are they?" I ask. She doesn't answer, only whispers. "The ones we see when we don't look away." Then everything turns to black. I wake up morning. Sunlight, the mirror is gone. All of them are Jai's back. Fully his eyes are tired, but normal. His smile is real. His voice trembles when he speaks. "It's over," he says, "isn't it?" I want to believe him, but then I look in the corner of my eye, not see a faint shimmer on the wall, not a reflection, but a shadow. And when I blink, it blinks back. The mirrors are gone, shattered, scorched, melted down to warped streaks on the floorboards. No more reflections. No more 3:33 a.m. chimes. No more mirror girl. But peace. That's not what followed, because even with the third mirror destroyed, something stayed behind, something I can't name. something I feel watching me from surfaces that shouldn't. Reflect, the side of a bookcase, the glass in someone's watch, the glint in a raven's eye. They watch from behind the seams of reality, waiting the return to normal. Jai returned fully 2 nights after the collapse. His speech came back in fragments like he was recovering. From drowning in silence, first memories, then stories, then emotions. He remembers everything. What it felt like to scream from behind his reflection, to bang on glass while no one noticed, to watch me forget who I used to be. Now he doesn't speak after sunset. Says his voice echoes in the mirror world when the sun goes down, so we write notes after. 7p.m, short ones, mostly just one phrase over and over. You still see her too, right? The mark is fading, almost the eye on my neck. It's closing slowly, painfully, but I'm not sure it's healing. It feels more like it's waiting for something. Sometimes I feel it twitch, not just a pulse, a blink, and twice. I've woken up with tears in my eyes and mirror shards on my pillow, even though we don't have mirrors anymore. What happened to the mirror girl? I see her sometimes, in dreams, in half-dash memories, in impossible reflections. Like puddles that appear on dry pavement or windows, I walk past that show A Different Sky. She stands alone in the mirrored world now, the last guardian of what we tried to bury. But she's not angry anymore. She looks tired. Last night, in a dream that didn't feel like a dream, she spoke through the silver fog between our worlds. Tell them not to blink, not because they'll vanish, but because they'll be seen. The black glass is spreading there. Something else, something worse. The third mirror is gone, shattered, but its substance, the black glass that made it, has started appearing elsewhere at first. I thought it was oil. Then I saw it ripple. When I stepped near it like it recognized me, I tried to burn it. It hissed and vanished. Then reappeared the next day, larger, one line. Then 2, now there's a vein of it, stretching under our house. It hums at 3:33 a.m., like something on the other side is still breathing, still hungry. What the town? Did the town of Grafton Pines refuses to talk? The librarian is gone. So is the church. Basements, so are 4 people I distinctly remember seeing last week. Lise from chemistry. It's a crossing guard, a classmate named Devin. And Mr. Talbot from the hardware store? No. One remembers them. No missing posters. No news. It's like the town has already forgotten what happened. Or maybe it never stopped happening. The book that wasn't there before on my desk sits a small leather book I've never seen. No title. No spine. Inside, 1 page. The first mirror shows truth. The second reflects memory. The third is a mouth, then in red. 4th is forming. That's all. Nothing else. But every night, a new page appears. Tonight's page said, "Glass remembers what the mind forgets." I flipped it over. My face was pressed into the parchment, drawn in ink. Mouth open in a scream I haven't yet made. Jai's eyes aren't always brown eye. Caught it today. Only for a moment. He was brushing his teeth, and I walked past the hallway. His eyes, his reflection's eyes, weren't brown. They were silver, flat, reflective. He blinked once, then turned off the light and walked out of the bathroom like nothing happened. There. Used to believe they needed glass, a pain, a reflection. But now they're learning to live in our skin. I passed by my neighbor's yard and saw a child drawing on the pavement. She looked up at me with my eyes, smiled with my lips, then whispered something too faint to hear. I ran. Later, I saw her again, in a photo from 1995. I wasn't even born yet. I asked Jai one last question. What if this is the mirror world now? He stared at me, didn't answer, just walked to the kitchen, opened the cabinet, pulled out a glass, set it down. The surface inside the cup rippled, then whispered, "She's still choosing." My final entry, it's 3:33 a.m. again, I'm writing. By candlelight, no screens, no phones, no glass. Everything is cloth or wood or paper. But still I see her, the mirror girl, standing outside my window. In the reflection of nothing, she lifts one hand, 3 fingers up, then closes. 2. Only 1 finger remains. She mouths the word, now. And just before I blow out the candle, I see myself blink. Epilogue. A word of warning, you might think this was a story, a tale, a myth, a warning from someone else's nightmare. But I know you, you're curious. You've already looked once. Maybe twice. Maybe you're checking your reflection right now. If so, I have only one thing left to say to you. Don't blink. Again.